Now we are going to study about the exceptions to the law of demand. Exceptions means where the law of demand is not followed. Where the law of demand is not followed. That means with a fall in price, the demand is not increasing, or with a rise in price, the demand is not decreasing. That's exception, or remaining unchanged. That's exception. Now, number one, what we are going to learn is Giffen effect. Giffen. Sir Robert Giffen was the first economist, was the first one who has observed a strange behavior among the consumers, those who are poor. Listen carefully, those who are poor people, they are spending a huge proportion of their income on certain inferior goods. Those who are poor people, low income group, they are spending a certain amount of their income on low quality goods, or what we call inferior goods. Okay. Now, as the price of those commodity decreases, the quantity demanded does not increase. He rather shifts to such a consumer shifts to some other expensive item that he can bear. So inferior goods were consumed. Now the price of the inferior good reduced. The demand did not increase. The demand also gets reduced. Okay. Such goods were referred as Giffen goods by the name of the economist Sir Robert Giffen. Okay. So that's Giffen goods. An exception to the law of demand. Demand did not rise. Okay. Next is snob effect. Snobbish behavior. We call, there is an English word, snobbish. Snobbish with somewhat negative behavior. Now, what does that, which effect do we call? Suppose there is a fall in the price and certain consumers, see, exceptions doesn't occur for all. Exceptions are is a rare occurrence. Okay, so it does not happen all the time, but at times, if such behavior is exhibited, we call them exceptional behavior. So one of the case, suppose the price has decreased and a particular consumer or a set of consumers are there who, instead of increasing the demand, reduces the demand to show off that they do not belong to the poor class or low income group. Since the price has decreased and the quantity demanded, they reduce their quantity demanded to show that they do not belong to the low income group. Okay, so such behavior by those type of consumers is known as snob effect, or we call snobbish behavior. Veblen effect, a very common one, and many at times this exception is there. Thornstein Veblen observed that at times consumers consider the quality of a product with its price. If there is an increase in price, they anticipate that the quality has improved. So the demand also increases. So what happened? As the price increased, with an anticipation that the quality is better, the demand for the commodity also increases. Because at times it is thought that higher price is an indicator of better quality. So when such such things happen, such phenomenon, that with an increase in price, the quantity demand increases, considering that higher price indicates better quality. Higher price indicates better quality. Such effect is known as Veblen effect. Next we have a bandwagon effect. Bandwagon means at times it is seen that some consumers increase the consumption of certain commodities with an increase in the price of that commodity to show off that they belong to a rich class. That effect, when the say playing golf is an status symbol. Now if the price of golf balls increases, the commodity, still the people increase the demand for golf ball, showing that he represents or he belongs to a specific high class or high status. Okay, because playing golf symbolizes something very above the strata, above the status symbol. Okay, so bandwagon effect, that is also an exception. Expectations of prices in future. Today the price is rising. People are expecting that the prices will rise in future further. So today they again demand more. Instead of reducing the demand, they demand more because they expect the price to increase further. So expectation of price in future with rising price, the demand increases. That is also again an exception. And emergencies, say during war, even if the price increases, the demand increases because war situation. Emergencies like flood, earthquake. Okay, so at that point of time, the law of demand does not operate. Emergency situation leads to the exception to the law of demand. So these are the cases, possible cases. You may have another one. Number 7, for some goods like that occupy insignificant insignificant proportion in consumers budget. Items like salt, matchbox, they occupy such low proportion of the consumer's budget. Even if their price increases, people do not go for change in demand. They do not reduce their demand because their consumption is such that their consumption is very less, and the price change is very marginally affected. So, or affects the demand, very marginally affects the demand. So, insignificant proportion of consumers' budget for items like salt and matchbox and such items which occupy a very insignificant proportion in consumers' budget. Such commodities, the demand for law of demand does not hold good. The law of demand does not hold good. Please note the exceptions. Study from the text. Everything is there in the text. Listen to the explanations repeatedly, minutely, and then write it down. Update your classwork copy with each point and the basic explanation. Example if possible.